There's a moment when everything becomes crystal clear. It happens in the space between one heartbeat and the next, when the noise of daily existence suddenly falls silent, and you're left facing the one truth we spend our entire lives avoiding. What if I told you that this moment, this confrontation with our own mortality, holds the key to living more fully than you ever imagined? Possible? Welcome to a journey that will challenge everything you think you know about life and death. Today, we're going to explore one of humanity's most profound paradoxes, how the awareness of our finite existence can transform us into truly infinite being. We're going to discover what the dying have always known but rarely shared, and why the shadow of death might actually be the brightest light we can follow. This isn't just another philosophical discussion. This is about you, sitting here right now, and the extraordinary life that's waiting for you on the other side of this realization. By the end of this video, you'll understand why every great philosopher, spiritual teacher, and wisdom tradition has pointed to the same truth, that death is not life's opposite, but its greatest teacher. Let me start with a story that changed my understanding forever. Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, the pioneering psychiatrist who spent decades studying death and dying, once described a patient who had been given weeks to live. This man, who had lived what most would call a successful life, good career, loving family, financial security, sat in his hospital bed and said something that haunts me to this day. "I feel like I'm dying without ever having truly lived." But here's what happened next. In those final weeks, something extraordinary occurred. This same man began to experience life with an intensity and clarity he had never known. Colors seemed more vivid. Conversations with loved ones became profound. Simple moments, watching sunrise through his hospital window, feeling his daughter's hand in his, took on a sacred quality. He wasn't just dying, he was finally fully alive. This transformation isn't unique. It's been documented thousands of times by doctors, nurses, therapists, and families who witness the final chapters of human life. There's something about facing our mortality that strips away everything superficial and reveals what truly matters. But why do we wait until we're dying to discover how to live? Stay with me until the end, because what you'll hear may challenge the way you've imagined this time your entire life. Before we begin, I encourage you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss future content, and share this with friends and family who are fascinated by history, faith, and mystery. The ancient Stoics understood something we've largely forgotten in our death-denying culture. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, practiced what he called memento mori, literally, remember, you must die. But this wasn't morbid fascination. It was the foundation of a life philosophy that produced some of history's most resilient and purposeful individuals. Seneca wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." He wasn't just talking about death as an ending, but as the very thing that gives meaning to our beginnings. Think about it. If we were immortal, would anything we do really matter? Would love carry the same weight if we knew it would last forever? Would beauty move us if we had infinite time to experience it? The awareness of death doesn't diminish life, it concentrates it. It's like holding a finite amount of precious liquid in your hands. Every drop becomes sacred not despite its scarcity, but because of it. Modern psychology has validated what ancient wisdom taught. Terror management theory, developed by Ernest Becker, reveals that much of human behavior is driven by our unconscious awareness of death and our attempts to achieve symbolic immortality. We build monuments, create art, have children, pursue fame, all in an effort to transcend our mortal limitations. But here's the paradox: the more we try to escape death, the less we actually live. We become so focused on building legacy and avoiding mortality that we miss the profound gift of our present existence. Consider the Japanese concept of mono no aware, the bittersweet awareness of the impermanence of all things. Cherry blossoms are considered most beautiful not in spite of their brief blooming, but because of it. Their transient nature doesn't diminish their beauty. It's the very source of their poignancy and power. What if we applied this same understanding to human life? What if the brevity of our existence isn't a cruel joke, but the very thing that makes it precious? Beyond measure, I want you to imagine for a moment that you've just been told you have 1 year to live. Don't focus on the sadness or fear. Focus on what would change. What relationships would suddenly become priority? What grudges would you release? What dreams would you finally pursue? What simple pleasures would take on new significance? Now, here's the profound truth. You do have a limited time to live. We all do. The only difference is that you don't know the exact expiration date, but that limitation exists whether you acknowledge it or not. The question is, will you let this awareness paralyze you, or will you let it liberate you? Near-death experience researchers have documented thousands of cases where people who clinically died and returned describe profound transformations in their relationship with life. Dr. Raymond Moody, who first coined the term near-death experience, found consistent patterns in these accounts. People return with dramatically reduced fear of death, increased appreciation for life, stronger emphasis on love and relationships, and a deep sense of life's interconnectedness. But you don't need to have a near-death experience to access these insights. The dying have always been humanity's greatest teachers about living, if only we're willing to listen. Hospice workers often speak of the deathbed test. It's simple. Imagine yourself at the end of your life, looking back. What will matter then? What will you wish you had done more of? What will you regret not having done at all? The answers are rarely about achievement in the conventional sense. People don't usually wish they had worked more hours, accumulated more possessions, or gained more status. Instead, they wish they had loved more deeply, forgiven more quickly, taken more risks in service of their authentic selves, and been more present for the small miracles of daily existence. This isn't sentimentality, it's practical wisdom. The perspective from life's end reveals what truly creates meaning and satisfaction. But why wait until the end to apply this wisdom? Consider how different your day would be if you approached it as a gift rather than an obligation. If you remembered that this conversation, this sunset, this moment of quiet reflection might not come again in exactly this way, not with morbid sadness, but with profound appreciation. The Buddhist tradition speaks of death as the great equalizer and teacher. Regardless of wealth, status, achievement, or failure, death comes to everyone. But within this universal truth lies liberation. If death is certain and its timing uncertain, then the only rational response is to live with full presence and authenticity right now. There's a meditation practice called death contemplation that involves regularly reflecting on the reality of death, not to become morbid, but to awaken to life. Practitioners report that this awareness transforms their relationships, their priorities, and their capacity for joy. When you truly understand that everything is temporary, you stop taking the precious for granted. Let me share another story. A woman named Sarah was diagnosed with terminal cancer at age 35. She had 2 young children and what seemed like decades of life ahead of her. But instead of being consumed by bitterness, she began what she called living like I'm dying. She wrote letters to her children for every future birthday. They would celebrate without her. She traveled to places she had always dreamed of seeing. She had difficult but healing conversations with family members. She said yes to adventures she had previously postponed. But here's what's remarkable. 6 months into this journey, her scans showed the cancer had gone into remission. The doctors couldn't explain it, but Sarah could. She said that when she stopped being afraid of dying, she finally learned how to live. The stress, anxiety, and constant postponement of joy had been replaced by presence, gratitude, and authentic engagement with each day. Whether her physical healing was connected to her psychological transformation, we may never know. But what we do know is that she discovered something most of us spend our entire lives missing: how to be fully alive. This brings us to perhaps the most important question of all. What does it mean to live fully? Is it about experiencing every pleasure, achieving every goal, visiting every destination? Or is it something deeper? I believe living fully means being completely present to your own existence. It means feeling the full spectrum of human emotion without numbing or escaping. It means pursuing what matters to you, not what others expect. It means loving without reservation, even knowing that love makes us vulnerable to loss. It means creating, contributing, and connecting in ways that feel authentic to your deepest nature. Living fully means accepting that pain and joy, success and failure, connection and solitude are all part of the human experience. It means not postponing happiness until some future achievement or circumstance, but finding meaning and beauty in the texture of ordinary moments. The awareness of death doesn't make life tragic, it makes it precious. Every breath becomes a gift rather than an assumption. Every relationship becomes an opportunity for depth rather than a casual convenience. Every day becomes a canvas for creating meaning rather than just another square on an endless calendar. This is what the dying know that the rest of us often forget, that life is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. This messy, beautiful, challenging, extraordinary existence is the only one you get. The question isn't whether you'll face difficulties, loss, and ultimately death. You will. The question is whether you'll let these realities paralyze you or inspire you to live with unprecedented authenticity and appreciation. As we near the end of our journey together, I want to leave you with this challenge. What would change in your life if you truly, deeply accepted that your time here is limited? What conversations would you have? What risks would you take? What would you stop wasting energy on? What would you start giving more attention to? Don't wait for a diagnosis, a loss, or a near-death experience to wake up to the preciousness of your existence. The wisdom of mortality is available to you right now, in this moment, as you sit wherever you are, breathing, thinking, feeling alive. Remember, death is not the enemy of life. It's life's most profound teacher. It teaches us that nothing lasts forever, which makes everything infinitely precious. It teaches us that we cannot control outcomes, only our responses. It teaches us that love, kindness, creativity, and connection are the only things that truly matter in the end. You are alive right now, fully, completely, miraculously alive. This isn't a consolation prize or a temporary condition. This is the grand adventure of human existence. The dying know something that we often forget in our daily routines, that being alive is the most extraordinary thing that will ever happen to you. So live, not someday, not when circumstances align perfectly, not when you've achieved some arbitrary measure of success or security. Live now, love now, create now, connect now, be present now. Because in the end, it's not the number of breaths you take, but the moments that take your breath away. And those moments are available to you right here, right now, in this precious, fleeting, absolutely magnificent experience of being alive. What dying teaches us about living fully is simple, that life is not a problem to be solved, but a gift to be experienced. And that gift is yours, right now, waiting for you to unwrap it with the full awareness of how precious and temporary it truly is.